What's up everyone, Xtreme Xecutor here, and before I begin the review of Ikki Tousen Xtreme Xecutor, I'm going to make a shout out to a website known as Tenchiforum, which is a fan site dedicated to all things Tenchi Muyo, one of my favorite anime series of all time. They also have a YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description below to where they make podcasts about certain things about the Tenchi stuff. And they also have other people working on projects that they show off on that website, such as the Hasegawa project, which is dedicated to making fan translations to the novels that never got released here in the States. And recently, their shop had this. A physical SNES copy of the video game that actually had a fan translated ROM about a decade ago. I remember playing that game vividly. And, yeah, they actually made a physical SNES copy of it. Don't believe me? Yeah, right here. Neat, isn't it? It even came with the instruction booklet. There were like two different versions you could get. You can get the one with the game case and instruction booklet and the game, or you can just get the cartridge. And they were very limited in copies too. I don't think you could ever get something like this again, unless of course they change their minds down the line. But that was something I just wanted to show off a little. And I hope you check out their website if you're a fan of Tenchi as much as I am. They got some really neat stuff over there, okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed that little shout out. Now it's time to actually start the review. Man, I do enjoy Ikki Tousen sometimes, but even I question how the hell it survived 4 damn seasons. And don't give me the sex sells argument crap, especially since fan service is rampant in the majority of anime today, good or bad. I'm still waiting for a second season of High School of the Dead, damn it. You know, it could be because that the show is marketing off of the merchandise. Well, thankfully, I like to keep some dignity. I mean, I don't even see the point of buying figurines from a fan service heavy show like Ikki Tousen. I really don't see the appeal to buying. You! What is that? What is that? Look at me, what is that? Shit! Nothing. You didn't see nothing. It was just a shut up. Bullshit, I saw something. What the hell was that? No, you didn't see anything! Damn it, man, show it to me! Oh man, if it's what I think it is, I'm gonna be so pissed. Alright, what the hell is that? It's a figurine. From which anime? Ikki Tousen. Which character? Hosen Ryofu. Hosen Ryofu? You bought that? Why? It kind of looked like a cool figurine. That's why I bought it. You are unfucking-believable, you know that? So anyways, Ikki Tousen Xtreme Xecutor is the 4th season of the franchise that was released in 2010. The story introduces a new character, Mokibacho, who is destined to be one of Shu's 5 tiger generals. Shu is Seito Academy in this series, obviously. She attacks Kyosho Academy by herself, wishing to avenge her brother that was murdered by Kyosho's leader, Motoku Soso. She fails, stays with Seito for a while, and meets up with the main protagonist, Hakufu Sonsaku, and Bacho is so impressed by Hakufu's skill, she wants to be her apprentice. Now that part of the plot only makes up just about the first 3 episodes. They kind of got through that pretty quickly. The rest of the season focuses on the fighters of the Kanto region having to deal with the impending invasion of Nanban High and their new leader, a vengeful foe known as Kente. Oh, by the way, this review is only covering the main 12 episodes and not the extra OVA that came in the Funimation DVD release. I may do a separate video on that. But anyways, my thoughts of this season in a nutshell. Ikki Tousen Xtreme Xecutor is extremely meh. I don't know, I just thought it was okay. I mean, there were some things I liked, there were some things I didn't like, but it didn't outright piss me off. Because I try my best not to have high expectations for Ikki Tousen so that I enjoy the show a little more, but really, I didn't I didn't like it as much as the last 2 seasons. It was just okay. I mean, I'll get some pros and cons out of the way. For starters, Moki Bacho is a ditz and a slightly more hot-headed attitude, which does make the perfect apprentice for Hakufu. And she was actually a pretty good character. She has a really cool design. She has a phobia of snakes, but she overcomes it in a pretty awesome way later. But she doesn't steal the spotlight entirely. She's really not the main protagonist. Hakufu still is. And they still have more of an ensemble focus. I mean, Ryomo still gets a lot of character focus. Kanu gets some character focus. Ekitoku Chohi, the new antagonist, Kente, as well as her underlings of Nanban. They still have a more ensemble focus, like I already said. And there were some other things I liked. They showed the origins of the Sato sisters, as well as the origin of Ryomo's dragon embedded in her left eye. I didn't know they were going to actually explain that. I also did like, whenever it did have good animation, I did like that. But there wasn't a whole lot this season. The only other major con I can mention, in terms of characters, is that Tenny, a character I hated in Dragon Destiny, returns as an antagonist, and she's still just as much of a brainwashed religious zealot as before. And if the writers were trying to add a sense of mystery of the identity of Kente, they kind of fuck it up, and because of Tenny, they kind of gave away her identity almost immediately. Now, the animation is produced by a combination of ARMS and TNK this time. TNK, I've seen some of their works before. I got a mixed bag about them. And while the character designs are still the same as the last 2 seasons, animation, though isn't as bad as the first season, it didn't have much to go with like Dragon Destiny and Great Guardians. I mean, they definitely skipped in more areas, especially in areas I didn't want them to skip in. Want to see a whole army invade a boat full of fighters and see a really good action sequence out of that? Nah, here's some speed lines in those last minute images instead. Oh, that's very exciting. I thought we would drop that shit in the 1990s, but whatever. However, there were some things I did like one of the Kyosho characters, Kyocho, tossing Moki through the window as they fell off from the school rooftop. That was a pretty fun thing to watch. And there was also the aforementioned snake incident. And then there was actually a fight between Ryomo and Kanu that was spliced in between a few amount of episodes, and they had some good moments there. And obviously, since this is Ikki Tousen, there's excessive fan service of this show. And if you hate Ikki Tousen because of that, this season obviously won't change your mind. In fact, it blows my mind that you're actually watching this review if you hate Ikki Tousen. But I really can't add anything new to that area. Oh yeah, funny thing about the animation. The first episode actually did a recap of the first 2 seasons, but since season 1 was done by a different studio, ARMS actually redrew scenes from that season to keep it consistent with the current look of the show. Neither a pro or a con, it's just something I wanted to point out. Funimation dubbed this season just like they did with Great Guardians and uses a mixed cast from the first 2 seasons, so you got some Geneon players, you got some Media Blaster players, and you got some of Funimation's own players voicing a variety of characters, which was something I really liked from the last season, and I like it just as much as this season. So I'm going to say, yeah, the VAs, while the script is a little silly, the voice actors actually did their job well. You got Jeremy Lay voicing Bacho, and, yeah, really nothing outright to complain about. However, there seems to be more swearing in this season, especially from one of the other antagonists, Mokaku, who loves to call everyone a fuckwit. You can actually play a drinking game to that. Both the opening and closing songs feel more action-packed than the other set of songs so far. It took a while for those songs to grow on me. The rest of the soundtrack is alright. I got really nothing new to add to that area either. Overall, Ikki Tousen Xtreme Xecutor is extremely average by Ikki Tousen standards. There wasn't enough to impress me on how good or bad it was. I mean, if you watched Ikki Tousen up to the 3rd season and had some level of enjoyment out of it for any kind of reason, good or bad, I still say watch this for completionism's sake, but everyone else pass it up, obviously. I'll probably do a spoiler talk to discuss more about it in the future, but really that's all I could say for now as a non-spoiler review for the show. My next big review, as I mentioned in my last video, will be on Space Adventure Cobra. I hope you guys look forward to that review, and with that, Dark Scream 217 signing out.